GamerSpawn. Sony and the PlayStation brand are one of the biggest comeback stories of the current generation of gaming consoles, having kicked off the PS3 to lukewarm reception and a dearth of desirable games. But slowly and with a few missteps along the way, the Japanese technology company was able to rebuild gamers' trust in the sales of its console by providing top-of-the-line services, a steadily increasing library of quality games, and a commitment to righting some of its past wrongs.
What the fuck?
Today, the PlayStation 3 is thriving, with its unique blend of free internet play and a vast and varied games library helping to carve out its own niche in the home console market. In a long-awaited move, Sony finally announced the existence of the PlayStation 4 on February 20th. The second next-gen console to be officially confirmed after the Wii U. What little we found out about the PS4 already shows that Sony has been trying to learn its lessons from the PS3 launch. While the PlayStation 3 was the top of the line when it hit the market, few developers knew how to take advantage of its unique 7-core processor, and instead opted to develop for the more conventional Xbox platform. Sony, in a bid to be the center of development attention this time around, has made the decision to base the PlayStation 4 on a more typical PC-inspired architecture. The system's x86 64-bit 8-core processor should put it on par with a mid to high-end gaming PC when it hits the market, and it should be nearly as easy to develop for. The graphics chip will be based on the Radeon HD 7000 series, which, although several years old, will undoubtedly be optimized and souped up for the console iteration. 8 GB of RAM, USB 3.0 support, a quicker Blu-ray drive, and a gigabit Ethernet port round out the new hardware features. Though Sony's DualShock controller line has remained relatively static through the years so far as looks are concerned, Sony continues to implement incremental improvements with each successive release. When the PS3 hit, the company introduced its 6-axis motion-sensitive technology, and this time around that concept will be expanded and improved upon for the DualShock 4. The DS4 will also integrate a clickable, multi-touch capacitive touchpad on its face, which should be implemented for UI navigation as well as unique in-game features. Finally, the controller will include headphone and microphone support through a single port, a small speaker, a social network-focused share button, and a PS Move-style light bar for precision aiming and selecting. With the DualShock 4, Sony's certainly continuing its streak of throwing everything in the kitchen sink into its flagship products. As consoles continue to mature, it becomes harder and harder for manufacturers to impress gamers with simple, raw power alone. Now, many times the most exciting innovations can be seen in the software realm, and such is the case with the PS4. A revised home screen interface, additional out-of-the-box third-party applications, and a revamped and deepened profile and trophy experience will be available at the PlayStation 4's launch. Though the PlayStation Network started as a bare-bones online store and gameplay matchmaking service near the time of the PS3's launch, it has since been upgraded and expanded to include premium features for Plus subscribers, greatly increased functionality and usability, and a much more comprehensive catalog of games for purchase and download. The PS4 looks to continue this progress with brand new features like cloud-based streaming of some games, streaming gameplay and upload functionality, and play while you download purchasing off the PlayStation Store. The PlayStation 4's game selection is already shaping up to be spectacular, with big-name day-one releases as well as possible sleeper hits scheduled for the launch window. From long-awaited multi-platform titles like Assassin's Creed 4 and Watch Dogs that have been optimized for next-generation technology, to exclusives such as Killzone Shadowfall and Infamous Second Son, Sony is trying to convince gamers that the company is serious about supporting its platform with desirable software right out of the gate. In addition, Sony promises a lower barrier of entry for indie developers, many of whom stick with Windows or Linux PCs due to the ease of self-publishing and the lack of artificial development restrictions. If the Japanese gaming company follows through on its word, we could have a vast and varied game catalog within a year of the system's launch. While there is much more to be learned about the PS4, what we've seen so far is indicative of a smart approach to the modern hardcore gaming market by Sony. Many questions remain. Will Microsoft's next Xbox iteration swoop in to one-up its fiercest competition? Will the company be able to capture the casual market Nintendo won over last generation with the Wii? Or will the Wii U eat into that portion of the PS4's potential sales? And perhaps most importantly, will the tech giant be able to price the console competitively? While we don't have the answer to any of these questions as of yet, we should learn more as this year's E3 looms larger on the horizon. As the dust from E3 and other expos begins to settle, we'll have a much better picture of what kind of market and how warm of a reception the system will be facing when it ships later this year. Stay tuned to GamerSpawn for all your PlayStation 4 and general gaming news and features.